It's been a wild ride to 700 subscribers, but this is it. This is the end of the line for the Sylvan Franklin channel. I'm headed back to school, and on top of that and my job, I'm just no longer going to have time to make videos here. I might return in maybe a year or two, but just kidding. No, we're going to the moon here. Daily uploads, 11 Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to go super technical, but I'll get into that in a little bit. More importantly, where I'm going is presidency of the United States. Vim is going to be mandatory in all schools. I'm going to fix the school system. I'm going to do all of that stuff once I turn the eligible age or whatever. Or maybe I'll just lobby them to lower that. I think it's 26 or 25 or something in the US. Whatever. Or maybe I'll just pick another country like Germany. So a lot of people often ask me, it's usually Indian guys who are very early on in their career, how do I become a 10x developer? Which is very flattering that people think I'm a 10x developer, but yeah, I'm not at all. I have like an intern level of programming skills because I'm an intern. Well, 5 interns. But that's actually arguably worse than 1 intern. Anyway, yeah, I'm not a great programmer. I just like know Vim pretty well. But that can change. I want to become super cracked at programming. A lot of people have asked me to do like detailed actual work in Vim, which, oh my god, I guess I have to. So my friend Jake and I, my Greek friend Jake and I, last school year made like a 3D renderer. We tried to do ray marching too in C++, OpenGL. And what we want to do next year is come back to that and like super optimize it. I want to get cracked at very low level stuff. A lot of people are like C purists and like do everything to the maximum. That's a little intimidating. I might go there someday, but I think what would be more interesting to me is become like a master of the C++ standard library, because there are so many like crazy cool algorithms that they have built in now and like features and data classes and stuff that I think like knowing that stuff very well would be really cool and translate over. And C and C++, that family of languages, also like really lend themselves to advanced Vim workflows. There's a lot of like kind of C specific define and jump header and whatever functions built into Vim, so I think I could have a really cracked workflow. And yeah, that's the plan. I just want to make this more technical. I'm obviously still learning. I'm not as cracked as some people out there, but I want to go into detail on things. You might see Jake more in the future of this channel as well. And yeah, more Vim tips, deeper Vim tips, more actual workflow stuff with C, and hopefully some cool 3D rendering stuff at the low level. Also, I'm taking real analysis and a couple of other really difficult math classes next semester, or maybe kind of difficult depending on how good at math you are. I don't know, maybe that's kind of, I've heard real analysis is like the math major killer class. But yeah, so more types should be coming out hopefully. And I don't know if that class takes up a lot of my time, that could be an issue, but honestly, like I'm of the opinion that I can just turn my schoolwork into content. But yeah, in general, more specific, more low level, more actual applied workflow things coming in the future. I know it's like cool to see all these weird features of Vim that I've been pulling out, but to see someone actually apply them. And another thing is like, right, I'll admit it, I don't apply a lot of these myself. Like I'd say I use probably the most complicated thing is like G into norm and like some like regex capture groups. And I feel like that's where most people max out on Vim, but I want to be one of those guys who's just like insanely cracked. You know, I have like a snippet for every algorithm that you could possibly want, and like my workflow is just buttery smooth. There's also a chance next year, like I'll have a more dedicated long-term apartment. And since so many people are asking about when am I switching to Arch Linux just because of the Luke Smith stuff, and I'm not really going to be traveling as much, there is a chance like I set up some kind of Arch desktop just for the content factor of it too. But don't get your hopes up too much, because I've been known to rip things away from people brutally at the last second. Then there's also potentially going deeper into Vim and Neovim, like the actual core development. Some great person in one of the videos before me said, go check out the Neovim repo and look at all the configs of the people who maintain it. And that's where you find like the biggest beasts in workflows. So I've been looking at those. There's some great things I've pulled out of there. But yeah, I want to keep doing that and potentially even maybe look into contributing to Neovim, because because that would be awesome. Also, people asking about Cocoon and Helix and all that. I will make videos trying them eventually. For now, there's like a lot of stuff that's holding me back from that. First of all, like the audience there is way smaller. And second of all, like the extensibility is like a bit of a problem for me. And Vim is just so, the community around there. It's like React versus Quick or City or whatever the fuck. But yeah, I will give those things a try just because people have been asking about it constantly. I'll try to work on my audio quality and general production quality as well, but there are a couple things that are holding me back from that. So first of all, like I don't want to ever have the aesthetic that's like the mainstream transparent terminal split keyboard behind it, like buttery smooth, everything modern. Like I prefer the like janky 90s looking, I just barely figured out how to install this dark mode theme on like my ancient ThinkPad aesthetic. Same thing with recording. I don't like overly processed visual and audio effects, but to be fair, it is very janky. I usually just record on my phone, so maybe I'll invest in a better microphone. Also, Milwaukee was super cool, but I am very excited to go back to Vermont. There's a lot more woods I can walk around in and talk about random shit, Luke Smith style. I'm not someone who really wants to go that deep into the Luke Smith route of philosophy. I'll talk about it now and then, but I think like I'm kind of just a kid. I don't know how qualified I am to say these things, and I don't know, maybe that if anything makes me more qualified than most people. I feel like if you're aware of your own lack of knowledge, you're usually ahead of the curve, but then again, I could be behind the curve with that take. I don't know, I'll see what people want. I'm flexible. I'll still be working part-time remote at a couple of the different internships. That shouldn't take up a huge amount of time, and the nice thing about that is it's also programming, so it generates more content. I want to make a video kind of soon about how I'm using Vim in a very cursor-saturated environment with Python and data science and like LLM workflows. Because setting up Jupyter notebooks and stuff is kind of cool to some people probably, especially if you're a newer CS person coming into the field, because this is likely what a lot of future development will look like for many people. It's one of the biggest rising things is like data science and AI engineering. Another thing is most of my programming skill set up until now has been in web development and CSS and Svelte and React and Vue and all that stuff. And I kind of want to move, like I said, to low-level stuff. I'll do occasional web dev if it's relevant to making a small project or whatever, portfolio website stuff. The thing is, web dev is oversaturated with a lot of people, and it's such a monstrosity. I just hate working in it. Most of the time when people hate working in something, it's because they haven't worked in it very long and they like don't understand things, because it's not fun to work on a field where you're not good. I mean, think of playing a video game and you're like getting killed constantly. No one likes that. Same thing with like you're constantly confused trying to set up cores and like, I don't know, TCP and all that stuff. But anyway, yeah, I feel like there's a lot of stuff I don't know yet in web development, and that's probably why I don't enjoy it, but it's also in general just such a mess, like, and so repetitive and so, I don't know, kind of boilerplatey, almost more than anything. It's all just coming down to like setups and templates and like minor tweaks. Like it was bad like that in the past, where you have like your back end, front end, Yarn and whatever package manager on the back end. And I know, like I'm in web development. Don't tell me about Bun or any of that stuff. I know about it all. It's just like, that's already bad enough, but now that they're adding like styling libraries and like component libraries and just libraries to handle everything, it's just like, it's slowly devolving into Scratch, and every project is essentially the same like useless thing. I feel like that's like the most AI automatable, uncreative part of programming, and that's why I want to go to like interesting graphics programming, maybe making my own kind of indie game. But yeah, just my 2 cents on that part of the industry. There are probably more experienced people that can say deeper things, but that's about it. I'll catch you next time.